Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Ekmek. This is Lobotomy Corporation. This is not my first attempt at recording this. Unfortunately, the recording crashed, so I'm going to be using OBS for this one. It's very unfortunate, but it did at least save all the extra agents that I added for reasons, but I do need to take a look at all of my stats here. I need to look at my best agents and sort of scratch down these numbers because it's going to be very important in a bit. So Igor is our safety team captain. He has a lot. Cooper is our control team captain. He's decent, but his stats aren't going to be hung on to for forever. River actually has surprisingly good SP for being the information team captain. Yumi actually also has very good stats, probably because information team captain, it's training team captain, I mean. Who is our captain for Central Command? For some reason, it's not Hannah, but we'll take note of Hannah anyway. Mason is the captain here. Decent boosted stats, but not perfect. It would be nice if I could drag this paint program a bit bigger than this by default. I never did finish working with Gonzalez's fortitude. I probably should have done that. Extraction team captain Tim. Oh, you actually have stupidly high attack speed. You actually have stupidly high justice. I should keep that in mind. And who's captain here? You. Rogan hasn't had enough time to really boost up stats though, so oh well. Anyway, there's an important fail condition to this. Usually when we run out of agents, because they're all panicked and or under mind control and or dead, then we get a prompt to restart by Angela. We do not get that on this day. If our agents die, then if we lose everyone, then it triggers the bad ending that we would have gotten for not having completed enough core suppressions. Anyway, we have ghosts of our previous core suppression cores. They actually interfere with selecting characters. I found that out, unfortunately, so we've got to be cautious. I mean, they are also sabotaging us like they did in the actual fights. That's not nice. So we can do works to figure out... Yeah, we've got Malkuth's debuff under effect at the moment, so I have my notepad. I need to write all these down as I do them. Sorry. Okay, you need to head up here. You can stay down here. And you head up a floor. So anyway, let's test this out step by step. So if we send you in for fortitude work, it becomes attachment. If we send you in for attachment work, it becomes insight. So if we send someone for insight work, we want to pick someone who can actually survive this though. It becomes repression, which means that repression would be fortitude, but we should test that out before we say that for certain, just in case. Yes. Okay, we have everything set out now. Well, back to the busy work, I guess. We want to take advantage of being able to know what we're doing with these abnormalities while we can, because we don't get that forever. So for insight, we get attachment work. For attachment, we get fortitude. For repression, we use insight. And we don't have any A-lefts left. Also keep in mind, because this is a core suppression, we don't get warnings if abnormalities breach. We have to keep an eye on the text box or people that are currently working. And we also have to keep in mind that we do have Queen of Hatred, so we need to exterminate clerks every now and then. I feel like the best way to go about this one is department by department. Because we're going to have some pretty demanding setbacks later on. After all, we're still dealing with white ordeals. I should also probably do these unknown abnormalities while I have the chance. Because I won't be able to see them later. And I don't entirely remember their numbers. Alright, we do have you up here, but you're bad for energy generation, so I'd rather not. On the upside, anything down here cannot melt down. If that is an upside, I guess. So then once again we need the insight from attachment. And we need the fortitude from repression. Yeah, insight is our best bet, although the stats drop when your own prudence is too high. Meltdown on Queen Bee, we can handle that. So, apparently it doesn't scramble the work types every meltdown, only every second meltdown, but it's still not pleasant when you're trying to figure these things out in a rush. For example, next level we're going to get a work order scramble, but we're also going to deal with a dawn. I have tried this already, and unfortunately the recording glitched and crashed, but I got blackfix on the first one. When you realize that, oh, I have to do works on all these guys at the same time that you don't actually know what the work assignments are, is kind of problematic. So, attachment becomes insight. Fortitude becomes attachment. I can never remember what his preferences are. Insight. It's all about doing the work fast, so attachment becomes insight. Harry's probably okay. Slight weight weakness, but he's got plenty of prudence. Oh no, why did you give me the 2% gift? So let's see, I want to raise your justice stat here, which means insight to repression. Then for the fortitude, we need repression. Which oddly isn't that bad. As long as you avoid insight, she's fine, but I still don't like to take chances when you're dealing with the Queen of Greed. Right, we've already dealt with the meltdown. I don't need to worry about that. So yeah, Fortitude might be the best work type, it's just that he doesn't respond well to high-level agents. Oh, executions, right. Punishing Bird got out. I think I'll execute the control team. Right, there's the clerk. I want to hang on to the stat boosts, and I would like to get through the equipment. I'd like to pick up the equipment before I knock out Extraction Team, just to make things a tad bit easier on me. Although really I should be focusing on getting the Volv energy while I still can. Okay, we're pushing pretty close to that darn, we're pushing pretty close to the darn meltdown level, so we've got to be prepared. I hate my mouse wheel, and I feel like it's breaking down, which means that I end up with it stalling out when I'm trying to scroll. Okay, Fortitude to attachment. And now we have to group everyone together. In order to react to whatever, well, whichever fixer decides to make an appearance. We did all our executions. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a chance to get the equipment extracted like this. Oh well. I can do it at the start of the next day instead. A request. Where did you spawn? Down here. Which fixer is it? It's the black fixer because of course it fricking is. I can't have anything nice. Unfortunately, Yesold has kicked in here, so I can't really make out what's going on. Okay, that's the bottom floor. That's Records team. Okay, I'm just gonna throw down 2 black shields here. And remember that I executed everyone here. Yeah? But everyone else needs to be on figuring out what the work types are on duty because we're going to have to deal with that the moment the black fixer dies. So then, let's see. I never reorganized everyone up here. It's a good thing this isn't where the fixer spawned. Okay, if we put insight work on one thing. Fortitude work on all around helper. Who else would be safe? I could use our friend from the bottom floor here, but I would have to be absolutely certain that I only use him for the... If I only use him for Letitia later, and it's just not worth it. Let's try attachment work with the fragment. And then repression work with the radio. Who did I forget? Onsen? Helper? Fragment? Radio? For some reason, the radio's repression work didn't go through. So one thing becomes repression. Insight to repression. All-around helper became attachment. Fragment became fortitude. Which should mean that radio is now insight. Yes, it is. So now I have to worry about the more problematic thing of this guy being right next to the door. Which is why I didn't send everyone, because there's a lot of squishies that could end up getting clobbered there. But don't let your guard down yet. Okay, what can we do here to make sure that no one dies? So, fortitude is attachment. You have Gold Rush, so it can't kill you. I guess we send you to Happy Teddy and hope that I don't forget that I sent you to Happy Teddy. Fortitude becomes attachment. So actually they just flipped them up and down. I cannot remember what work type Little Prince prefers. But I know that insight is important, so that's what we'll set you to. Then we just send you, I guess. And make sure to get you out immediately. On the upside, we're getting the noon immediately this time. Last time I got the noon at the very last possible second, and it was very unpleasant. Well, the game crashed before I could try it, but I'll assume it was unpleasant. And now I need to wait for them to finish those works so I can send everyone back and reissue them, so fast forward, I guess. I need to remember I did execute all of extraction this round, so I'm fine there. You go back upstairs to keeping the bird in check. The selection process is glitching up because they're hiding behind the ghost of Malchus. I think the problem with Gonzalez is that they have to cover two important corridors. They have to cover this one and this one. And there's the bird. Now here's the problem, I can't get to insight because censored, so I think I'm just going to have to leave that alone. Slow down because we're about to hit the noon. And we need to split everyone up so we can deal with the noon stuff again. We really don't need training team around. And the problem is that if I exterminate too many clerks, then I'm going to have to deal with the Queen of Hatred. But if I don't exterminate the clerks, then it might set off Big Bird. Okay, you guys go to there. You guys go to there. You lot to here. You to there. You to here. You guys to here. You to here. You to here. You lot up to there. You guys in here along with them. Is everyone out of position? Okay, so, that's control, so here is our information captain. Fastest work rate in the facility, very close by. Okay, so over here is the white fixer. Unfortunate to lose our skill boosts, but you do what you do. More unfortunate is that we're being hit by the stat penalty from HOD, so we have to win when we're slightly outgunned. Hang on. Don't know why you're not there. Where's Red Fixer? I can't find the Red Fixer. Freaking scroll wheel! Okay, I'll have to give it just a little more time to see where he pops up. Why can't... Okay, Red Fixer is in Central Command. That's also a fantastically bad place for him to be in. Actually, no, what I should do is gang everyone up in a position where they can jump him. We need to let him get into an elevator is the problem. We'll be able to quickly swap sides. Okay, you move to the other side and start whacking. You start whacking here. On the upside, you're hitting eagerly at least, but White Fixer is slow at least. Actually, you guys go pile over in that elevator, just in case. Slow bullet for the white fixer, just so you don't end up getting into people while I'm not looking. Okay, that's a painful number, I think. Everyone make a beeline for there. Red shields on here, just in case. Yeah, it's a good thing that we actually chose to move out of the way, but... that's going to cleave straight through our disciplinary team as well. And we're running out of bullets. Although we do have some disciplinary left. You guys jump down and help out with the taking out the white fixer. Everyone back off. We have to take you out, sorry. No, everyone, move past! That bad, that really bad! This clerk needs to go. Wait, no, that's white damage, that won't help, but... maybe we can keep Gonzalez in smacking range. Yep, that just pushed you down a little bit enough. Okay, so we have all the energy that we can hope to get our hands on now. Unfortunately, we now have stat penalties that will make it rather dangerous to work with specific abnormalities except by our absolutely best of the best agents. So you should be able to still work safely with him because your work time is still doubled it, isn't past 60, and you've got so much insight you'll probably be fine. So that's what we have there for emergencies. You're going to have to be in charge of these two, and we pray that nothing horrible happens there. A drop in stats isn't actually the worst for censored, because we will still be able to rely on we'll be able to rely on see, as long as they're level 5 they're fine. So we actually get higher success rate if it did push us down to a level 4 stat, but I don't think that happened is the thing. Anyway, we're at 50 minutes about now. I'm going to take a break in recording just to make sure that everything's settled right. And if it did, then we'll cut straight back in. So catch you in a bit. Okay, we're back, and I just realized that I forgot something completely. So it's a good thing that we did what we did. That I had that break, but I still remembered it. I need to refresh myself on what all the new abnormality work types are. So let's do this step by step. You go down here where you can be helpful. I guess you're helpful here. We're still shuffling people's positions about just a smidge. Okay, so testing time. Maybe I set the master volume up a bit too loud, I'm not sure. So a test where it's least likely to go horribly wrong, so... insight on one sin. Attachment on fragment. Repression on the all-round helper. And then we just see what's left. One sin became repression. It's possible that they didn't change at all, but I've lost track of what meltdown levels they should be changing on, so let's just play it safe. So that's actually really bad. Do you know why it's really bad? Because all-round helper despises insight. But yeah, we now have negative, I think it's negative 40 or negative 50 on all our stats, so people are going to be in quite the pickle. You guys can swap hallways. I don't think all-round helper breaches immediately, but actually he doesn't breach. He's still got 1 point left at least, so we'll be fine. But because all our stats went down and Yesod is blocking them, I can't be sure whether we're capable of handling these numbers or not. Meaning that I'm more liable to just rely on the HE, so we might not have enough energy to finish the day in a timely manner. Oh well. You go here. You go up there. And you go in here. On the upside, it doesn't disable their, it isn't messing up their armor, so theoretically we should be safe to do a work like that. Theoretically. But yeah, it's just easier if you actually have the nice numbers. Who did I agree was, I don't think I actually saved any of the records theme. Whoops. Oh, actually, your justice will probably be low enough to upset this guy greatly, so we don't want to do that. Oh hey, we got the mask, cool. I can never remember what's his absolutely best work preferred type. It's annoying. Okay, that's probably enough risky works for now. Big Bird is still sated, funnily enough. Speed it up just a touch. Wait it out. Big Bad Wolf got a little bit testy. It's a good thing that we have such high resistance on that armor. Okay, where are the meltdowns? One there, one there. It is Latidia, so we're probably fine, but I'm going to just assume that everything got scrambled again. So insight to 1 sin. Attachment to the fragment. Repression to the radio. I don't have anyone in that corridor. Whoops. You have a kiss. And fortitude to the Forsaken Murderer. Alright, let's go. Okay, so repression to 1 sin. Hang on. Fragment of fortitude again. Really? And down here, fortitude became attachment. Which means that the radio will be insight? I swear it's supposed to change. Yeah. Well, something did probably change in that our recovery systems are now offline. Okay, do we have enough people left? Just barely, but it's going to come down to the wire. Okay, that's 2 indisciplinary. And then 1 here. This is going to come down to the wire, isn't it? We're going to have to... We might have to use the trick to snap the Queen of Hatred out of it if this isn't a meltdown. If next meltdown isn't the end of this, then we are going to have to use the trick. We have to remember his stats did drop quite a bit from the HOD penalty. And I don't think the censored weapon will undo it. I can't even tell her... Okay, you did get healed at least, so... Let's send you in for attachment work because that's actually his preferred work type. That's actually the case for you as well. Ah, damn it. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know whether Hannah has enough justice to survive this. Let's make an executive decision to back everyone out. I mean, it's a negative 40 and you were already pretty high in justice. Okay, yes, actually, negative 40 isn't enough to knock us out of 5 justice, so you should be fine in terms of I'm not going to die horribly, or I'm not going to let it out. Whether you'll be fine in terms of survival is different. But attachment is its favorite work type, and Hannah's best to... Hannah also has the bear ears. You might just be able to handle this. Oh wait, we still have clerks in Central Command. We're still good. We're still good. And Punching Bird is out. Okay, so Queen of Hatred's heal does not bypass the Netzach debuff. But we need to stop messing about. Oh no, that was a mistake because we're going to push work orders over and then it'll be scrambled before we can get there. Unless of course we're lucky and this is one of the times it didn't scramble work orders, so let's have a look at this again. So repression on the helper, attachment on the fragment, insight on one sin, and fortitude on forsake. No, it changed, didn't it? Fortitude on radio, maybe? No, not really. We'll just take it as it is. Okay, it's still repression over here, so I think the work types aren't scrambled when they arrive. Okay, hang on. Fragment became Fortitude. Insight became Repression. Which means that we're most likely going to see Repression on this idiot again. Well, Insight, but yes, that carried over, darn it. It's supposed to change a lot more often than it does, and for some reason it's not. Fortitude would become Attachment, I think. Yes. So unfortunately we're definitely going to see the all-around helper breach. I think you should move to a different area. And now we have to actually react to this. Now, technically Repression is his favorite work type, but I do not want to get the gift at this point. It's just going to make things more complicated, so give us some Fortitude, I guess. Where's Punishing Bird? Oh, he's actually back now. We're almost done. The energy is almost capped off, but also you shall overcome this despair if you just wake up and smell the roses. You still have a chance, listen to what I have to say. Yeah, I am still recording, good. I should probably put some of you people back in your rooms. Oh, all-round helper didn't actually escape. Cool. Okay, that's a yellow work type, so we have to be extra careful now. Not that we want to send him back in with Latidia, but, yeah. We didn't execute anyone. Let's fix that. That debuff is actually extremely dangerous. The stat debuff and the healing debuff on top of each other are not nice. Because now Latidia refuses to let anyone get through unscathed. But we do have the energy for the thing, so as long as we get through this safely, I guess. Actually, it just struck me that punishing bird breaching is going to cause problems. You should go up here because punishing bird can actually peck someone to death now. Oh, did I issued attachment. I issued attachment instead of fortitude. I went into autoplay because this is the danger of having so many things lying on top of each other like this. Oh, you nearly died to that. Let's just keep throwing you into the repression work. The thing is, the new recruits are actually being pushed down to the single digits, which is why they're taking such a beating from Latidia in the corner. No one died because we got an S rank. I have no idea what sort of stats we have now, but let's be honest, it doesn't even matter. We're at least done. We can move on with our lives. Day 48. Ugh. I don't know whether day 48 is going to be better or worse. It's probably not going to be fun. Okay, what do we have on the chopping block? I do not want this. You'd be okay, actually. And you'd be horrible, so take the dreamer. Please go away, Plague Doctor. Bloodbath would actually be our best pick here, because all it has is a stat gate and we don't have to worry about losing stats anymore now that we've beaten that one. Do you remember when we still knew the warmth of the sun? We've become too cold to continue cherishing such a thing. No, in fact, we weren't meant to bask in such warmth in the first place. You feel it too, don't you? I can see you already feeling the nostalgia in the air right as you step into this room. There is a tale of two doors. Those two doors never wanted to be open, but had to be. Hey, it's me. Are you there? Can I come in? I didn't want to listen to what would come next. I wanted to pretend I wasn't in the room, because I knew that what she was going to tell me. Sometimes her thoughts could be extremely reckless. It really frightened me when she did that. Open the door. I saw her rise after opening that door. She walked into your lab and started illustrating her hypothesis, carefully yet decidedly. You wanted to tell her it was preposterous, but like always, she had you persuaded. You had no choice but to admit it was the only way. What made us so upset was how much it hurt to listen to her put it so calmly, as if it was none of our business. and how much we loathed ourselves for just having to tolerate it. We just can't seem to get any further than this. However, we will break through somehow. We've got Carmen with us after all. Don't worry, I think it'll all work out. The biological scans show that Carmen is the fittest candidate, but we haven't run a precision test though, so if you want to find another candidate, we can always... Carmen would. Carmen. You should have been the one to die. The research wasn't bearing fruit. People were growing tired, yet their eyes glittered with expectation. She was on the edge. One more step would make her fall. Then that day when Enoch's breath stopped, she finally realized that her path was always in her sight. Just one glance below the fall, and she'd never lift her head again. She wouldn't respond no matter how many times I yelled. Only the sound of flowing water filled the air. It's ironic that I just picked up Bloodbath of all things. I just kept yanking the doorknob like I were insane. Yet I hoped it would never open. I hoped and prayed countless times. Open the second door. The first thing I saw once I opened that door was a pair of closed eyes. She stepped into the bath herself, so that not a fragment of needless emotion like guilt would pile up on us. We saw with our eyes so clearly. She was bleeding out and delirious, but she still held on to life. We violated her body with our own hands, and buried her underneath the ground. Why was she so cruel? Why did we have to become so cruel? We asked this question without an answer. To the toast that celebrated our success blossomed with death. However, I've found a way to redeem us at long last. You have come to the right place. This is the room where she sleeps. Don't worry, she won't wake up with this much noise. Can you meet her again? Let's do it like this. Ask her, she who was always watching you from the beginning. I have something I should confess. I actually have a much weaker heart than everyone thinks. I always say stuff like, count on me and just follow me in front of everyone. But I'm never sure about the things I do. If anyone were harmed or put in trouble because of what I do, I would definitely be shaken and end up hating myself. I know that. That's why I need to ask you for a favor. No matter what I may become, please finish what I started. We humans have weak hearts. One crack and it will easily crumble. I am no exception to this, but you. You'll endure through it. There is only one way out, and it'll never change. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Are you unsure? I have this routine I do whenever I'm afraid of the path I've taken. It's like being a plant photosynthesizing. Ease up your tension, just close your eyes. Yes, just like that. Make yourself as comfortable as possible so that your mind finds itself comfortable too. It tickles, no? But just wait. Now. Fade away without a trace. I remember seeing one interesting fan comic posing the theory that she might be a blood fiend because of how... So Nosferatu is a canon abnormality. We don't get it in this game, but we get it in Library of Ruina, which suggests we did have it in our facility at some point. Nosferatu might be an abnormality based on the original Blood Fiend, or it might be the original Blood Fiend. We can't be too sure. But yeah, her blazing red eyes. Yes, I was the only one. I was the only one who could fulfill her ideal. I was the only one who could finish it. only me. However, she never told me this path of hers would be riddled with such vicious thorns and spikes. This is the bucket created from Carmen's sacrifice. This bucket is the beginning and the end destination of this place. Kagito is endlessly produced here, spewing out life and death. When we saw that bath was overflowing, we thought everything was over. However, we couldn't have been more wrong. She's alive right now as this. She saw every path we walked. In reality, her ideal was simply too grand in the first place, and our power too minuscule to fulfill it. She sacrificed everything of hers without a trace left behind, but you and I remember the things we've done to become a wing, to stay a wing. It was revolting at first. But you see how we acclimated to it after the first few times? We flawlessly realized our hideous actions just like all the other wings. No, not just that. We even evolved our own unique cruelty that can't be found in any other wing. The story of how human sacrifices are required to fulfill our ideal needed to be continued. So, we had to put on the guise of simply being manic about energy production. Though we know the truth too well. Were we really only pretending while we were so indifferent toward the countless deaths? Probing and combing through the brain of a woman to blend into the world, to evade the head and the eye. Throwing a person into the jaws of a monster just to gain some energy? Reincarnating your colleagues just to make them live through the same agony again. Do you really think those are things any normal person would do? Yet, we closed up our eyes and ears and numbed ourselves. We eventually felt nothing for what we do. I named myself Abraham to remember our sins. Sacrificing the innocent. What did I even expect to achieve doing all this, founding a showy corporation? I don't even know anymore. Does it really matter at this point? No, it doesn't. We were wrong from the start. Our very existence is wrong. You and I, all that's left for us is atonement. You already knew. You know we didn't meaninglessly embrace this pain. Tifereth knew that a long time ago. I guess that's why he always walked ahead of me. One day I realized that you were also looking towards somewhere with a clear vision, just like he did. I just didn't want to admit that I was lagging behind. I think that's why I was always so frustrated. I'm the Sephira of the middle layer, head of the central command team. I can't afford to fall behind like that. Now can I? That's the reason why I said I'll count on you, and hold expectation. Promise to show me someday, and show the world the fruit of our pain and labor. The expectation for the meaning of existence. You'll fall onto the ground no matter how much expectation and hope you have. You know what? Photosynthesis is for plants after all, things that actually take sunlight. It was never for something like you and I. Don't you know this already? We drove Carmen to death, we just saw that. I was always furious without any real reason. It always felt like I'm missing something, but I never knew what that something was. I've entered this anger of mine in a rather bad way, as you saw. This madness without purpose would never go away. If you didn't stop me, it would have gone bigger and bigger. It would have eventually devoured me. Look, we're never going back to how it was before. The situation's changed way too much. But I was able to keep my promise with her because you stopped me, at the very least. You also have to remember this. She would want you to protect what you have left, rather than just languish in guilt. The courage to protect. Yeah, she entrusted us with what's left. But we were not the person who Carmen thought us to be, no. The only person that believed in us when us gone. There was no one left around us. Manager, do you know why I chose to join your small company instead of any other grander wings? Of course, Carmen's moving speech did pique my interest, not gonna lie. However, the decisive factor for me, it was because I liked how everyone here trusted Carmen. You know how meaningless the word trust is nowadays, don't you? That's not all, manager. Carmen trusted in you entirely until her moment of death. Everyone else who remained did too. Why do you think I decided to stick with you until the end? Just look around you now. Everyone gathered here just for you and they're waiting expectantly. Those who are faithful and trustworthy. How can you be so certain? Carmen lies here, neither alive nor dead. How can you walk toward the unpredictable future, leaving her behind here? We are obliged to remain trapped in this cycle of eternal punishment. Yet still you want to reach for tomorrow. You want to escape this endless regret and atonement. There is one final door past here that wasn't written in the story. It's one I can't open. It only opens to those who are not soaked in regret. Think you can open it? Open the final door. Why do I only see darkness? Why does my voice not reach you at the finale? Would you like to expand the architecture team? So, we've got something that might not be as crazily stupid as before, but will definitely maybe force a few resets. And I'm actually... Dia got a level up for some reason. It's probably because you're in the record team. Yeah, you get +2 to all stats from being in the record team. You do not. Meanwhile, because you did a whole bunch of work with hang on, I need to look at this. Yeah, you get +3 stats for that as well, but you also did a whole bunch of work and nearly died, so that gave you Temperance level 5. I think I must have accidentally set you for Fortitude work, which is why you're here now. But for some reason the others didn't get any attachment work done. Well, that's not important. What is important right now is that we have quite a lot of nonsense to go through. So, reach Meltdown Level 10 or neutralize the red mist. So, if we don't feel confident, we could always push to get to the maximum Meltdown level. But the problem is that does mean that we have to tangle with the White Midnight a second time. It's going to be far easier to just tackle the red mist, so that's what we'll get to next time. Until then guys, take care, I'll see you all around.